All right, Shannon. I know it's taken us a bit. We didn't record a little bit. Then we had technical issues because we're not professionals. We don't pretend to be professionals. But welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Stretch Thin podcast.
Where we share our experiences and some encouragement as two men trying, not thriving,
Yeah, sorry, I missed it.
in the 21st century. I'm Shannon, a pastor, coffee shop owner, and an author.
And I am Joel, former pastor, now tech professional, and author. All right, Shannon, let's do this.
Let's go.
I love every episode you've gotten more subdued. You're so you're just tired of saying it. You're like, if I have to say let's go and act and feign excitement one more time, I'm gonna crash.
I'm excited. Let's go, Joel. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Where was that? I like the gorilla hit. That was good. Does Jaden do that to you when he wants to fight you? Does your son ever want to fight you?
Yes. Yeah. We go at it. I'm bigger than he is.
Okay. I can't wait. I mean, I have a feeling Ed's going to be much bigger than me, but I can't wait to wrestle Ed and fight him and see what happens there.
It's fun, yeah, because you gotta teach them who's boss, and you gotta do it so that they don't go cry to mama, because then.
Was there ever a time when you did that where you got a little too rough and he was young enough that he didn't cry to mom?
There have been so many times, and
Tell me one time. I got to hear this.
But I can't. There have been so many, and typically he doesn't even have to go cry to mama. Like, he'll go not anymore, but when he was little. And he'd tear up a little bit, and oh my gosh, she'd be like, "What are you doing? Like, you're gonna hurt him." I'm like, "I'm making him tough. It's okay. No, you can't do that." And then you got to know Jaden, but Jaden would go, he'd just kind of throw it. He knew what he was doing. Even at 2 years old, he knew what he was doing. He knew. He knew. Of course, I didn't really beat him up when he was 2 years old.
I was about to say that's
young.
Oh, okay.
Start him early.
I beat him up a little bit, and then out of nowhere, you're like, he's 2. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm on your wife's side now. I think between the two of us, I'm gonna root for your wife. It'd be like,
no, he likes to even now, like, he likes to come and he'll be like, "Hey, flex," and then he'll punch me hard in the arm, and then I'm like, "Okay, but the rule is
your turn."
Yeah, every time, you do it to me, sure, you do it to me, and I get to do it to you, and he'll pace himself, because
that's funny.
Yeah,
you have to still assert dominance. I mean, I think that's part of the thing. Like, there was I think it's a boy thing. Boys just like to hit, and Ed, he's learning, like, hey, we don't hit people, especially mom or your sisters. But there have been times where, like, I've just said, I'm not going to say no anymore. I'm just going to hit him right back. Not hard, but if he smacks me in the face, I'm just popping him. And there have been times, and I tell him, like, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. And you can see he's like, I mean, should I? And then he'll do it. And then it's just like, whap! And he goes, oh. Like, exactly. What's going to happen, sir? Yeah, like, why would you do that? Like, I told you, I warned you, you hit, repercussions.
Yeah, so, gentle parenting is not working for you there, man. I'm telling you, that's just, you're failing miserably at gentle parenting. So
I'm not. I think I don't know. Those people, actually, I don't know how they do it, more because you must have, like, the mental fortitude of Fort Knox, because I don't got that. There have been many times where I've just been like, stop it. We're not crying. Stop it. No more. If you're going to cry, go upstairs. Like, it's just been at the end of my rope, stretched thin, one could say, and just done. And, like, one person will whine, and I'm like, nope, TV's off, everything's done, you lose things for all day. And they'll be like, what? Like, to them it's like 0 to 100, but to me, like, to us, it's just like little knives just stabbing you, and finally you're like, I'm not bleeding out, I'm not doing this.
No, I mean, just today, we were there was a little incident that took place earlier in the morning. My youngest was not wanting to get her hair brushed, and she was having a bit of a moment, and so she was kind of squaring off with her mom, and
Ooh.
she was like, "Go get ready, we've got to go." And so she goes upstairs, and she comes downstairs, and she cops a little bit of an attitude with her mom, and and her mom was like Chrissy was like, "You're not going to have that attitude today." Well, one of my older daughters, who's like the justice monitor for the family, and
Oh
oh
no.
man, she's like, and she says that would have never have happened if we had ever done that. And she looked at Josie, looked at me, and she's like, and I said, I heard it, and I said, and it's okay. I said, because she's wanting to be able to get more iPad time or something later today. And I said, and she's lost it. So that's what it is. And so then she kind of like chirps back at me. And so I say to her, you're not going to talk to my wife or your mother that way. So that's your, and so that's just how it's going to be. And so she's been very sweet, very very sweet since then. But we were riding in the car, and the Jaden and her are in the back seat, and they're going, stop, stop, stop. And like about fourth time I'm like, enough, like this is not going to happen the rest of, like, I'm not riding in this car with this going on. And so it was, yeah, it's you just have that moment where you're like, I'm gonna take everything away. Yeah.
Yeah. Like how many? I mean, because I grew up with the in the generation of I will turn this car around like that. I grew up in that generation, and then there was the generation I guess after me, or I don't know, but like or whatever, which was the not that. There was guys stop, don't do that. I know I grew up on the everything we're doing right now will stop and it will go back home. Like and I use that threat, and it is never empty. I mean, there have been times where I'm in the car on the way somewhere, and I'm like, if you whine and cry one more time, we're turning around. I don't care. We can go home. Like, well, I'll just go home. And I'm like, and I'm completely serious. And they're like, no, no.
So I've got you when I for me growing up, that was when like spanking was just like, it was, you just did it. And
Right. There was no, you didn't think
always
about it.
had my dad always had a stick, a very thin, he called it a switch. And like, this
A
sounds barbaric in
switch.
2026. Yeah.
Yes.
And so he would have a switch in the back of the car, and if I was acting up,
He kept it in the back of the car.
he could reach back and he would get it,
Stop.
or he would tell me to hand it to him.
No.
So one day I thought I'd be sneaky, and while we were riding along, I had my hands back behind my head on the and the reach in the and I was breaking the switch into pieces, so it wasn't
Oh,
there. Oh, and he always knew where to find another one. But so I did. So the funny story for us, we went a few years ago. All of our kids were like in school, all at home, so we were in the van, and we're going out, and we're going to look at Christmas lights, and we're going to have a good time, and we're going to enjoy it, and we're going to get along. And that wasn't happening, and they were
you
bickering and
weren't getting
fighting in
along.
the back. So, bro, here's what I did: I pulled the car over, and I had made one of the ones that was in the back, that was kind of in the midst of it all. I said, "Go sit up in the passenger seat. Your mom's driving, and I'm sitting in the back seat between the two of you
Get
that
out.
are arguing." And they were like, oh, they like the whole car was like, "Oh," and I didn't do anything. I literally just was. They knew I was upset, and that was enough to kind of calm the climate. I mean, it was a bit of a chilly experience for the rest of the night, but like, you know what? Silent night. Oh, holy night. It was,
That's good.
we're gonna
That
enjoy these Christmas lights, and we're not gonna fight
you
and bicker the
shut your
whole
mouth.
time.
You're gonna have a great time.
Merry Christmas.
Dude, I don't. It's so funny. Like I think the personalities too of your kids that differ is also what gets you because with one kid you might have like Lucy is annoyingly argumentative. Like you said, justice. She has to get the last word to be able to, so like, no, 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 no. I wasn't saying that. I'm like, you didn't even let me finish. You don't know what I was gonna say. Like if you say I know one more time in the middle of my sentence, I am going to crash out because you don't know what I'm gonna say. Like you didn't even let me finish. So that's her. Nora is just like the queen of no. She'll just say no, and it is so like just like it's not defiant. It's just this kind of like no, and it gets me. Like last night, I spanked her because I was like, I said something so simple, not anything big, and she was like, no. It's like, I'm done. I am not hearing you say no one more time. And so I spanked her. She was like, she's like stomped off. But I'm just like, it's just the difference. Like Lucy doesn't do that. Lucy does not say no. She tries to tell you she knows best. Nora is just like, no, I don't. It's like she's just a walking middle finger to you as a parent. That's what she is. She's just a walking middle finger.
I'm surprised to hear that you like I like in a good way, like surprised to hear you just to say that you spanked her, because I mean I'm truly I know that in 2026 that is like the least acceptable form of parenting. That seems to be what's,
No,
you know,
I
I know lots of people that don't spank it, so I don't come at it from a
right.
judgmental or critical perspective, but I know that we did, and I know that we did it, and I could, you know, I could bring my kids out here, I feel like, and have them say, like, how did you fare because of that, and they would say to me and to anyone, we're glad that we had that experience, because we made it a point to do it right. We didn't. I can say for the most part, there might have been times where I impulsively might have done it out of just anger or irritation,
Just try to watch out. I'm not doing it out of anger. Like that's the
Yeah,
goal.
phase it down, dial it down, but then, like, I want you to understand that if you continue to make choices like you're making, you're going to experience pain and suffering, and you will affect that on other people. And so I would rather give you that experience here and now in a very controlled setting, than for it to be in a situation where you have no control over it, and you take
Exactly.
whatever pain is coming your way. And our kids have I will say to you, we're glad that you did, but it's it it's amazing to me that it has the connotation, I think, today, that it's such a bad form of parenting, and I really don't. If it can be, and certainly is, it can go off the rails, but there,
I think that's exactly what you're saying. I think the problem is that um, I think it was people saw it for too long. And it's so funny. I didn't think we were going to get talking about spankings, but I think people saw it for too long as an extension of just. So the irony of our podcast being called Stretch Thin was that it was just the extension of being so stretched thin that you're like, F it. I'm just, and so it was an angry, never malicious, but never, it was not self controlled. Um, and I think that's the hard part is people see that the lack of self control side, and that's where it all came from. But no, I don't. But there is an element of like, I mean, we're both Christians here. Scripture says, "Spare the rod." You spoil the child in the sense of like there has to be some type of consequence, and there is something to say about the immediacy of a consequence of a spanking because it is in under control, a quick, immediate consequence that you have to learn as you're forming. Because if you don't learn that as you get older, right? Like you you think things are going to be fine. Like you think
you
you can
don't
just do
expect
things,
consequences. Yeah,
right? And that's not a commentary on like liberals or people like that who are now starting to learn consequences when they go out and steal stuff or assault protesters or whatever. That's not that, but there is an element of you're starting to see a generation of people who like you see the common comments in YouTube videos and Instagram and TikToks like this person has never been punched in their life, and I think it's actually more of a saying of this person probably wasn't spanked when they were younger, because you learn if you've ever been spanked, you learn there is an immediate consequence to your actions more often than not. And so that when you get older, you weigh everything a little differently. You go, maybe not worth this. Maybe not worth it. Juice isn't worth the
yes,
squeeze. Because in the past, you got spanked. And now you're like, I could get punched. I could get shot. I don't know. Right.
that
And
you
so,
I
yeah,
could face a consequence that I wasn't taught to expect. That I
right.
that I just, yeah, I think And that's what I feel like I've always tried to communicate to my kids. Like I don't use the lines, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you, or those kinds of
I'm
things.
glad you
But
don't do
what
that because that is so
no,
silly.
because you know better. That's a lot. It's but I do go to them, and I mean I have not anymore, but I would say to them, look, I did spank you, and the reason that I did is I want you to understand that you're not always going to be able to get a pass at doing something.
Right.
And the big thing for me has always been, there will be pain and there will be heartache for choices that you make that are poor choices. And it might be emotional pain, it might be physical pain, it might be relational pain. And I would much rather know that I've helped my child grow to be an adult who understands that that there is a way to circumvent emotional pain, relational pain,
Mm-hmm.
even physical pain, if they know that that's something that they want to avoid even as a child. And so, yeah, good on you, man. I mean, I say that, and that probably sounds like I'm making a judgment on people that don't, and I don't mean to be that way, but I do believe that there is a value to it, and I worry for future generations of people that haven't experienced that. So
No, and I agree. I think I don't know. As even we were kind of like thinking about today, it's been a bit, right? Since it's been a bit since we and I podcasted. We've gotten um I think now we're going to be on podcast 5 that comes out tomorrow, at the time of recording. And that's the one where I think that's the one we were in Boone. I think I forgot. I edited so many podcasts on the plane that I was just like, I don't even know where I'm at anymore. But like, it's hard some oftentimes when you feel like you're alone in the thing that you're trying to do as a parent, you know? And what's helpful, it's what I've missed about even just like we've poloed, but even just these conversations that we haven't had to get to do in a couple weeks because we were too busy.
we're
Is
stretched thin.
bro. I thought, you you made that joke to me the other week. You're like, sounds like you're stretched thin. I was like, I hate it. Now it's like a thing, but it's like an annoying thing. It's not an encouraging like sounds like you're stretched thin. It's like a sounds like you're stretched thin. That's what it
Yeah,
feels like when
right.
you say
Oh
it. And
my
I'm like, you
gosh,
shit
like
your um but all that to say, like it's good. And I had a conversation with a friend before which I think my bad later in the week or later in the conversation is going to be when I freaking left out the chicken that I grilled like an idiot. But the the conversation I was having with my friend while I was grilling was he was asking about the podcast, and he said he listened to a couple episodes and like he really liked it. And he said that he asked like, so what are you trying to do? And I said the two things, right, or one, to just create a culture where we celebrate wins amongst each other with guys, and then two, just kind of show what modern friendship could look like, male friendship can look like and should look like. And he was like, well, yeah, both, that's perfect, like that's exactly, I think you're doing it, especially that modern friendship thing, because he said it's when I listen to it, that's kind of that beginning. Now I see why you do what you do in the beginning of the conversation, and then the end is where you do the wins and stuff, because he said I didn't know how you're going to get 40 minutes or so out of good bad wins. And I said no, it's more the showing what a good modern male friendship can look like. It's not just the how's work, how's your golf game. Like it can be those things, but it's never only those things. And for so long that was what we were presented, or that's what we thought was going to be what we should do in friendships, when in reality it's more like this. It's like, bro, I spanked the crap out of my kid last night, and we're like, well, spanking is a blah, blah, blah. And then at the same time it's like we're stretched thin. It's that's the conversation. Not like, so how much money are you making in your 4 coffee shops? Nice. What about real estate? How's your real estate portfolio? That's great. Nice. What are your investments looking like? You know,
yeah, because
anyway.
I mean, I do listen to. I have people that I listen to in that area, but I listen to people in those arenas for business and ministry and nonprofit world for that purpose. But I mean, I'm also very much so a everyday dad, husband, trying
Right.
to figure out, and I value places like this to process, but I also feel like that there aren't not enough places like this to process. So
No, there's not.
here we are.
Well,
We're making it happen on some
I was about to
small
say we're
level.
not, and I don't feel like we're adding to the noise. That's what I
No,
don't
I
think.
don't think.
I don't
I
think we're
mean,
we're adding to the noise at all.
someone will tell us if they. I would think if we are. So we have honest enough people around us that will say you're just adding to the noise, but I don't think that we are either. So,
I don't either. All right. So, on that note, what was your good and bad this week?
oh, good. Um, I I have seen this past week in as far as business is concerned. So there's been two really big. The business world and the church world for me have had their fair challenges, and I think some good is just getting some clarity on direction for leadership structure within our cafe, and just dialing in on things that need to be in place, and really just making some good changes to help make us protect our culture, um, and just shifting some roles around within the company, and so that's been good. I'm always just so grateful for the people that surround me and the team that I have, and I've got a fantastic team from administratively to the cafes to the people that work the bar. It's just really cool, really cool. And then similarly at church, had quite a few challenges over the past few months, and just some places where I was really trying to navigate some, like, am I walking through this the right way? Am I not? There was some interpersonal, some relationship type stuff with people in the church, that texting back and forth. And I have a group of people, I have a group of men that I could say, hey, this is the conversation that's happening. And here's what's being said to me, and here's what I want to say back to them. And in one moment, in one particular text in particular, one of the guys was like, hey, don't send the text. Let's sit and have coffee tomorrow morning. And so we did. And he was like, I think I just didn't want you to send it because you were responding out of emotion. And I think that you can be better than that. You can do better than that. And I didn't send the text. And I was so glad that I had somebody just to be, and he wasn't like, that would be stupid. He wasn't on me, but it was just like, here, let me take the knife out of your hand, and let's just
Yeah.
kind of talk this through. So,
I mean, I hate how it's so true, but it's such a good rule of thumb. It's like it's 99.9% of the time the text you want to send is not gonna help. Like 99.9% of the time, that text, it's will do way more damage than good. And but it's so frustrating because you want to so badly. I just want to send the text. I just want to get this out. And then you do, and then it's you
yep,
go, dang it.
yes, and yeah, I felt that way. I was like, I want to, just sometimes you, at least for me, I'm not the kind of person that just says what I want to say. Like, I try to be very, very careful with my words, and I try to be diplomatic, and I try to be kind. But there are times that I just feel like I don't want to be. I want to just, I'd love to, there are times I'd love to be the guy that just spouts off and lets it just
Right.
fly, and
Just
let the
rips it.
chips fall where they may, and not
Exactly.
really care. But there's a consequence when that happens, and I think that, I'm grateful that I guard against those consequences. So,
So if that's your good, then what was your bad?
oh, I'll say this is a bad, but it ended up being a good. I had a end of the month. For us was like, got really scary at the shop, and not say really scary. For me, it got really scary. Everything
Okay.
went along smoothly. People were, everyone got paid. All the bills got paid, but we have these weeks in, over the 4 weeks in a month, sometimes five. We can kind of know, like, the first of the month is going to be a really good time of the month, and then the second week is fine early on, but as we run toward the middle of the month, um, there's lots of big, like, rent and lots of big expenses come out, and we can do okay kind of in third week, but fourth week is always just kind of really really tight. We've got taxes that come out, we've got bigger payments that come out, and so I hit panic mode a week ago. I was like, oh, we're not going to be able to do this. We're not going to be. I don't know how we're going to do it. We're not going to be able to do it. And one of the things that's a sneaky little trap for small business owners, at least for me, I don't know how if this is at other people in business, but it is amazing to me how much easy money there is out there as far as like short-term small business loans, or
Mm-hmm.
you can get cash flow financing. And I get emails all the time for, hey, you need help with equipment, we can give you, send you this, get you money in your bank today. And we were in a situation last week where a coffee brewer was down, a grinder was down, and I'm sweating, and I'm like, I don't know how we're going to do it because we got all these. And so I I walked through the process of I took the bait on one of these emails for getting
Yeah.
a loan, and it was a relatively small loan as far as business goes, and but it was like I say that, like, in my life, $15,000 is not a small amount, but in the business and sales, it's like, okay, that's a small amount. So I went through the whole process. I got approved, but the whole time I'm like, God, I don't want to do this if it's a bad move. But it just seems like if it, if the doors are opening, then you must be you must be
Right.
in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had my biweekly meeting with my CFO, and I know what her take is on these. Like, she's like, stay away from it. It's predatory lending. Stay away from it. And so I said to her, I said, hey, like, I'm in our meeting last week, I was like, I've started this process. I've gotten pretty far down the process, but you were my last sort of fleece. Like, if it was really, really bad, you were going to tell me it was really, really bad, and I would tell you that I have access to this that can kind of bail us out. 15K that can bail us out. And she was like, I just don't think that that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. And I was like, okay, all right. She said, just it's the fourth week. Don't panic. Just get through. And I was like, okay, I won't. I'll call it off. Well, the money got into my account. We got approved, and they dropped the loan before that. I was expecting like this lending phone
Right.
call where we
Yeah.
kind of had to
Yeah.
talk through terms or whatever. They dropped it into my account. And so I text her and I'm like, hey, you're going to see the account, and you're going to see this big chunk of change in
Yeah.
there.
Like I promise I listened to you.
I did listen, but it's in there. And I was like, so it's there. And she's like, well, this is going to be the hardest thing you've ever had to do. She said, but you need to send it back. You really need to send it back. And I said, okay, I did. And so I pulled all the buttons and called all the people, and it was there for about 2 hours. And it was, and so I think it was a bad that turned into a good. I panicked, and I resorted to my own understanding and my own quick fixes. But the good is, thankfully, again, I had someone in my corner to be like, I'm not going to let you do that, because that's
Yeah.
not the best. That's not the best decision. So yeah, that's
That's
me. How
good.
about you, sir?
I'll say bad. Bad was. I mean, it sounds so silly, but like, I'd gotten back from Dallas, so I was on a work trip this past week. I was in Dallas for work, and that was fine. It was a North America sales kickoff, and salespeople are one of my least favorite types of people, specifically in tech and corporate America, because it's just all like, it's corporate culture, right? It's just open bars and excess and excess and excess and excess, and it's just like, do whatever you want, and you're encouraged to kind of just go nuts. Not saying anyone really did. It's just like, I just don't like that. I don't like that culture. because I am someone who is, I like to be unhinged and insane sober. I don't like it to be the case if I'm like intoxicated. That's just not, because it's more, to me it's more fun if you are without alcohol. When you are with alcohol, it's not attractive. It's just a turn off for me. If anyone starts to get loud and boisterous and touchy and just like all over everyone and like life of the party kind of thing, um, I just don't like that. And so I'd gotten back and I was just like so excited to be back, and um, got to hang out. I got to pick up my kids. That was awesome. Like I was able to get back in time so I could do pickup, and that was great. And then that night was good. I got to hang out with my wife, and then I was grilling, and it was okay. I'm gonna be good. Like it was, diet wasn't great while I was gone in Dallas, but I'm getting back. I'm gonna grill my chicken and my veggies. It was great. And a friend of mine who he's a friend of the show. He has been a big supporter of my stuff. He was my worship leader back in my old church. Great dude. And he and I hadn't hung out in a bit. And I was like, hey, do you want to hang out tonight? I'm just gonna grill, but like we love smoking cigars and having a drink. And so he was like, yeah, I'll come over. And so we were hanging out. It was awesome. It was fantastic. I had a great time. Had a great chat. I forgot to put, after all that, I forgot to put the chicken and the veggies in the fridge, and they just sat on the stove in the
Mm.
house all night.
How
And so
much?
I
How much
wake
was
up.
it? How much food?
Oh,
How many
oh, dude, it
meals?
was like a week's worth of food. Like it was like 7 chicken breasts, full chicken breasts, not halves, full. It was, like a couple bags of broccoli and a whole bag of carrots that I had cut up and seasoned. The chicken it marinates overnight. Like it's a whole thing. And I none the wiser. I just forgot. I didn't even think about it. I wake up, and so I'm waking up being like, oh, it was a good night. Hang out with my wife. Got to hang out with my friend. I grilled. Like I got stuff done, but I'm sleeping hard, and I wake up after like sleeping hard and just be like, it's just been a week, and I finally got back, and I go downstairs, and the first thing I hear from my wife is like, and I hug her because I was like, hey, I missed you guys so much. So good to be back. Don't even get to say those words. First thing she says to me is, "You left your food out," and I'm like, "Son of a," and I just crumble because I'm just like, I can't
Oh,
handle
dude.
this. Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating. And we had a busy weekend ahead of us too, so it meant that like I don't know when I was gonna have to grill, when I could. And I also, every Saturday, my wife takes her break. I send her to Starbucks for a couple hours so she can get away. Like I wasn't going to take that away from her. Ew, it just soured so much.
Mm.
Um, and so now I'm ending up grilling tomorrow. It was fine. In the end, it was fine. There's a local place that has like healthy food. You can buy like for a family. So you can buy chicken and rice and veggies and like black beans and stuff. And it's great. And like it works. And it's really good food and it's good for you. And so we just ordered that and we were fine for the weekend. I had that for lunch today, and like I'm gonna grill tomorrow. But it was just, oh, it just hit me so hard. I think it was just because I was looking forward to just a win, winning when I got back, and
Hmm.
I felt like I just nosedived into the weekend. Like,
And you feel,
great.
I mean, you said after, I remember when you telling me about that, but you're like, I just felt stupid. And it's
I felt
those
like
kinds
the
of things.
stupidest person in the world.
Like, why would I do that? Like, that's so, yeah, I can so
And it's
relate.
food, and like it's food, it's meat. Like it'd be different, but it's like this is something that I was gonna have for the week. Like it's
And it's
the
not cheap.
implications, the constant. No, and it's not. And it's the frustrating thing because like, and I think this kind of goes into the quasi second bad, which is sometimes I think it's difficult when you feel like let's say you're not necessarily racing other people, but like let's say you're in a race, and sometimes it feels like you're doing the best that you can, and you're doing it in quotes the right way, right? So I am meal prepping so that I'm eating healthier, and I'm not just eating junk food and spending money on junk food and eating whatever the heck I want, which I'm trying to also promote to my kids, that you eat healthy, you live healthy, you like this, all this kind of stuff, right? And there's that moment where you're like almost mad at God. Like, why couldn't you have just reminded me or woken me up or something, right? Because I'm trying to eat healthy, right? I'm trying to be healthy while, yeah, other people couldn't give a rat's crap about eating healthy, and they're fine. They'll eat McDonald's every day, right? And then that's that. Sometimes I get into that mode where like, or this person, all they care about is themselves and promoting themselves, promoting what they're doing, and it's all about them. And here I am trying to develop an app that helps with suicide prevention. This is literally for suicide prevention, and I can't get past this stupid thing with the back end. Like, what the heck, God? I'm running a race. I'm clean. I no drugs, no steroids, and I'm just trudging along. And this person is just doped up out the butt, and they're crushing me in this race. And like, that's not fair. So that was me, like this weekend. I think that it was just it was so I was so tense. Which is why when I sent you the polo this morning, I was it's just like, I'm so done. I'm so done. Anyway, that was my bad. Um, my my God. Actually, I think
I have no
um
words, man. I feel it. I just feel it. I can all of it. I feel it.
my good. I will say this. Um, this I think it's an interesting thing when you travel for work and you love your family and you feel as if you should feel guilty anytime you travel for work. You feel like you should be like, I shouldn't be here. And I run into that. And sometimes I don't want to be there. I'd rather be with my family anyway. But because of something I'm doing at work, because of an initiative I took, I'm going to be traveling probably more internationally. And the first place I'm going to is going to be London at the end of June. And I'm like, that's actually pretty dope. I've never been to London. Like, I'm going to get to go to London. My company's paying for it. I'm not paying for it. So like free flight, free hotel, free food, all this stuff. And there's a part of me, like I had to ask my wife literally before I came up here for this podcast. I said, "Can you give me permission to be excited that I get to go to London?" She's like, "Yes." Yeah. I said, "Okay," because my default is to think that you're gonna be like, "How dare you?" Just like you want to cuss me out, be like, "Yo, yeah, you're gonna leave me? Yeah, I bet you're excited." Be like, "No, I'm not. I don't want to do that to you." But I needed that permission to be like, I've never been to London. Like this is actually super cool. I've never been, and I get to go, and it's gonna be great. So
That's so cool, man. I mean, and the opportunities that you're getting because you were
right.
in Munich a few weeks ago. I mean, a couple months ago, right?
Like in yeah, just January or something. I think. Yeah. But it's
Good
like,
for. I mean, it's
and
so
I,
cool
I'm
though.
not,
Yeah.
I'm not some, I wasn't like, I didn't grow up dirt poor, but I did grow up homeschooled and a pastor's kid. I never thought I never thought I'd be going to London and Munich. So it's super cool to just be able to say like I'm gonna get to go there eventually if it goes well in London. Like I'll probably go to back to maybe not Munich, but probably Belgium, probably Paris, probably South Africa, probably Dubai. Like some sick places that I'll be able to say like I've never gotten to go, but I get to for this. So you know,
It's a good thing when good things happen, and it's okay for good things to happen to you. So you know
that
what?
is good. That
Yeah.
was good. Well, hey, wins. Let's share our wins real quick, and then we'll move into the wins from everyone else.
Um, wins. Yeah, the good, the bad, and the wins. They always kind of like I feel like them. I'm grouping them together, and so I feel I feel like the some of the things that I shared are definitely wins. I think also for me, I am super thankful for the relationship that I see just strengthening with my daughter, my
Hmm.
youngest daughter. Um, so I don't think that we've talked about this because I don't think that we did recording of this, but she loves horses, absolutely loves horses, and we got to put her into a 5 day intensive sort of thing, like sort of like equine therapy, but it's more than that, and just it's designed for growing skills in helping, and when there might be just relational skills that might just need to be helped a bit, and I got to go be part of this and be an observer, and this kid, just watching her interact with, first of all, an untrained Mustang. pony. So this, he's never had a saddle put on him. He's never been ridden. But
Wow.
she got to go. She goes out, and so she works with a coach. The coach shows her what she needs to do to be able to get him to do what she wants him to do. And the final day of this is an obstacle course that she has to create in her mind inside of this horse pen. And
That's
there's all
cool.
of these various things like uh he could walk up on this low lying bridge, or he could walk around cones, or through barrels,
So she
or
thinks of this on her, like she comes up with it and designs it, and it becomes a reality.
yes, he's like, they're like, okay, so this is the culminate. They've worked with her for several days up until this, and day 5 of the 5-day intensive is, now you're going to map out, what do you want Rusty to do.
Oh, that is
and
so sick.
and so she maps it out, and she's like, okay, I want him to go here, and I want him to do this. And I mean, it was everything from, she wanted him to go walk up on this low lying platform, and she wanted him to stay there for a certain amount of time, and then she wanted him to do, in and out of a series of cones. And one in particular was, there was a big oversized, almost like a Bosu ball, soccer ball, that was in the field, and this
Yeah.
horse had been afraid of this ball. He wouldn't go near it. So one of the she a couple days before had introduced it to him, and helped him become more comfortable with it. And so in her obstacle course, she put the ball between two barrels, and she wanted him to move the ball and then walk through the
Wow.
barrels. And he did it. Like everything that she wanted him to do, she did it. But here's the thing, she didn't say a word to him. It wasn't there
Oh, that's
wasn't it
sick. Like,
wasn't like, it was all body language. It was all communicating through body language, and big high energy. And then they would, like, they would say to her, okay, now use high energy. And so she would, like, tense up, and he would sense that. And then they would say, all right, now neutral. And so she would just kind of, drop her shoulders.
right, right.
It was amazing to watch this massive, massive animal, like, follow the commands of this tiny little 10-year-old who was simply just communicating through her body language. Well, the culmination of this sits there. They sit with us, and they said, so, we these are the things that we're wanting to work on with her, like leadership and communication skills, and empathy, and just like all of these various things. And she killed it. Like, she like, her whole assessment was just, literally, the assessment comes out in this visual of her being just this well-rounded person, which we always knew she was. But
Right.
she went
Yeah.
in with some, like there was noticeable inabilities for her to think up, like, what would you like for him to do. And her first response,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But at the end of it, she knew. So all of that, and how does that translate into a win? Well, being able to see her in that context, and to
Yeah.
see her do something and excel, and to celebrate that with her, and to walk away from that. And I got to tell you that since her completing that, like, I see her in a different light. I've always
Mm.
loved her, thought she was absolutely fantastic kid. We were blessed to be able to adopt her when she was just 2 years old. And so there's always been that question in my mind as to whether or not there is that father daughter connection that I'll have with her, that I
Right.
have with
Yeah.
my bio. And man, just being able to experience that with her, come home, and then the days that have followed, like just to be able, I don't know, like, it's just like, last night we watched a movie together, and just, like, we're able to cuddle up on the couch, and it just felt like, this is good. This is so good to see good in her, to see her growing and developing, and to be able to see our relationship,
I
which was
love
always
that.
good, just be strengthened. Yeah, I feel like so much of that is is a win. She's actually seeing me through the door. She's inside the living room, and she's like, she doesn't
Is
know
she
I'm talking.
gesturing at you like a hey, I see you?
Yeah, she sees me. She's waving at me, but it's just like, it's just a win. Like, just, I'm just so grateful for that. So
I love that.
yeah. How about
Well, it's
you?
funny. I think my win is similar in the sense of it's a daddy daughter kind of thing, but mine has to do with Lucy. Like literally, so yesterday. So Lucy is she's very um she's a feeler, right? And funnily enough, even though she's an extrovert, or would be characterized as an extrovert. She is shy, very shy. She doesn't like to try new things. She doesn't like to go new places, not knowing people. Um, and and so yesterday we're going to McGinnis's. His son just turned 1, and so we were invited to his little birthday party, and so we went. And Lucy doesn't really know many of the kids there, and she's just not like Nora's different. Nora's a wrecking ball of a person. She'll just do whatever. She'll go. She does not care. She's just like, I don't know you. I don't care. I'm gonna have fun. You want to have fun with me? It's fine. Lucy's like, I don't know. Like she's like, if you could see me, anyone who's listening, what I'm gonna do, you'll see this is her. I'm gonna act it out. Like she's just always kind of watching other people. Just I don't know. And it wasn't the win wasn't that she blossomed out of her shell and she became this beautiful butterfly who just was like, "Hi, I'm the life of the party." No, she at one point we went to the car to grab something. We're going back to the party, and on the way back she goes, I'm happy that we came. I was nervous at first. I was scared because I didn't really know anyone here, but yeah, I'm happy that we're here, and I'm having fun. And great, she's 7, by the way. Like that's I'm like, she's a very emotionally aware 7-year-old. But it was just great, like because to me, I loved that moment of getting to see her understand where she was and just continue to do it. She was like, I am. I'm still kind of a little nervous, but I'm having fun, and I'm here. And so yeah, that was my win by far. Just knowing that like it's not just her. I know that I'm creating that environment in my house where she can explore that. And so yeah, that's my win.
Yeah, you to be able to see the the beauty of your kids like becoming their own and growing and maturing is huge, and being able to step out into their domain. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's so cool.
All right.
Hey, we
Well, let's
gotta we gotta jump to wins, right?
let's jump to some wins. And you are the one who set up the text thing, so you know where they are.
Yeah, we got a lot of great wins. So we've had a couple weeks of collecting them without being able to record, and this the text thread that folks have been sending texts or sending their wins to has been so cool, and be able to hear and see, to see this community growing. Um, Yeah, I get so for the most part, we have people that are telling us who they are, but this one is one that they haven't told us who they are yet. I'll find out who they are, but the win is they saved up enough money to buy 2 front tires for their vehicle, and it's part of their intentional living project, is what they called it. So,
Okay.
man, just that the of saving something and being able to do something with it, like that's a really cool one.
It's one. It's also not easy. I mean, it's the spend now culture that we're always in. It's so hard to fight that, and yeah, way to go.
Yeah, that's huge. Um, Dang, why am I not? It's not, for some reason, it's not letting me open these up now. And let's see, let's go to archived. This is
Here's the problem. I trusted you with technology. I
right.
trusted the old man with technology. I shouldn't have
No,
done
here we
that.
go. Here we go. Here's so Donnie sends this one in. His daughter, 17. This is kind of painful, actually. She ripped her fingernail almost all the way
Ugh.
off at work. Oof, which kind of freaks her out. She kind of freaks out. But her first thought was, I got to call my dad. And that's the win. That her first thought was to call me. He said, I met her straight away at the hospital. Poor thing ended up losing her fingernail.
Ugh.
But to know that that's what your daughter will do in a moment of crisis, is that she'll call dad first. That's pretty awesome. So yeah.
I get that. That's always like I think it's every parent's dream is that, no matter how old your kid gets, that they'll go, "Hey, I need to call my dad."
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we want to be their hero, on some level. And that's I, I think that's really cool for Donnie. Donnie's a great guy. He's got great kids, and I love that. Here's another from Jackson. He is a graduating senior from college, and he says his win this week has been completing a couple of major projects for his final semester of college and presenting them. Man, I just when I read that, remembering that final week of university and all the things to try to get done, and oh my
Hmm.
goodness, just when to be able to check those things off, I'm like, yes, I know. It's been a minute, but I know that feeling.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was talking to someone about like finals and just thinking about just remembering back to when you had finals, like just oh, I have more finals this week. I have one on Saturday. Like how also when in the midst of it you thought that there was like the worst thing in the world. You had no idea what was coming, but you're like, oh
No,
gosh, I have an exam at 8:30 on a Saturday morning. It was stupid.
I couldn't imagine my life beyond finals, but there is life beyond finals, which is what I keep telling my kids. Because I just, like I said, I had lunch with two of them today, and they're like, "Yeah, I got one tomorrow," and they just feel like, oh, I just got to study. It's like it'll pass,
It'll
and you'll
pass, and
pass,
then you're done,
please.
and then
Yeah.
you'll wish for those days.
Another one from Kenneth. Kenneth is he's also in the coffee world. He has a coffee cart here locally. And he's a really cool guy. So his text leads off this way. Come on, I love it. I can just hear the energy. Come on. He said, I'm trying to grow my business more this past week, reaching out to more people, and it worked. Found a great connection. Praise God, it's feeling like a win. So yeah, that's pretty awesome for Kenneth. Um,
Great job, Kenneth.
and let's see that one. This is from uh, Hunter Farrow. He says my win was not going to church for my friends, but actually to go to actually worship God. I'm like,
Mm,
okay, like
that's
not
good.
going. And I said to him, "You're
I
doing things for the right reasons will always be a win." And he said, "Yeah,
Amen.
thanks. Yeah." So that's this one. I just chuckle at this one. This gentleman's win said he got his head rubbed by this handsome man named Joel while coaching CrossFit class. Plus, he's been crushing his training and getting up early every day, even when I don't want to.
No,
You know who this
that's
is?
McGinnis.
This,
Yeah, it's McGinnis, friend of the show. I will say this, McGinn. That dude, we know because we spent a weekend with him in Boone. He is dedicated, but he also like he's there's some cards stacked against him. I mean, he played D1 hockey. He did very well, but he had terrible concussions, and he's still dealing with all of that. And if you anyone who has CTE knows it's the worst. And he continues to just show up every day. We were talking at the gym today, and he was like, he just shows up every single day. He shows up, even when he doesn't want to, even when all the voices in his head that are as a result of CTE and everything are like, no, you shouldn't. He shows
yeah,
up, and
yeah,
I love it.
yeah, and especially when it's those when you're showing up to do things that are hard things,
Exactly.
which is another win that I'm seeing here from my friend Jason. His simple win is I started back working out this week, um, and this is not some. I mean, he's certainly knows that practice. Uh, it's part of his life, but and has been part of his life. But you get off track, you get busy, um, and just getting back in the gym. Another one that we don't have a name for. We'll find out who you are. Staying focused through frustrations is another big win.
Oof,
Um,
that's not easy. That's, I mean,
I I'm gonna save one for last because this one
okay.
and I think I told you about this one pretty special. But let's see. My friend Bert. Bert is fantastic. Bert sends wins before I even ask for the most part, and so 2 weeks ago, his win for the week was that he's been less critical and less complaining about things in life and more about finding the good in events or people. And then this past week, his win was that his son turned 16 last Thursday. Shout out to Nolan Finley, big 16-year-old. And Thursday, so they went on their first college visit on Saturday. He's a rising junior,
Wow.
and so they went to look at a college. He said, I was dreading going to the college because we're going to have to get up super early on Saturday, be in Knoxville around 8:30. They went to UT to look around. The visit turned out to be an amazing time just because we're able to spend time together. And Nolan decided that after listening to the professor of the School of Architecture that he doesn't want to do that anymore because it wasn't what he thought it would be. After the visit, we went and saw a movie, had dinner, and then went home. And it was a great and a beautiful day for me. And I love that. I love this family. I love the relationship that's there between the mom, dad, and the son. And they just, that's super, super cool. Darren also is another guy that's been sending wins. When every Wednesday he sends one, and so he's celebrating a win, and that his 83-year-old parents are still very active. They're planning a trip in their RV this summer to go to South Dakota. He says
funny.
they're both believers and in good health. And then he's this past week he hosted a prayer walk on Sunday in a community here in our city that's lots of poverty and not the best of neighborhoods. They went out in groups of twos and threes and they prayed for people, and that they met and just sharing. He says sharing God's plan of salvation. And
Yeah.
3 of the 25 participants were first timers that he personally invited, and now they're committing to sharing the gospel daily. And then he goes on to talk about the things that they prayed. They prayed over hundreds of homes and prayed against abuse and hopelessness and depression. And it's just really cool going into those dark places. So this will be my last one. But really, really cool. I did not realize that this guy had been, apparently he's been following us on social media or listening to the podcast. But week 1 that we sent out this invitation to give us your wins. He says he starts off, it's Gage, and Gage was part of our family for about 6 months. He lived with us, and with just a really, really tight connection back then when he was little. But now he's a grown man, and he says, my win for the week is that Jesus gives me strength and wisdom through life choices. Whether it's good or bad, I always come out with a greater strength of some sort. And he says in the book of Job, he lost everything, but he never lost hope. And that's my win for the week.
Yeah.
Bro,
Amen.
when I saw this text come through, because I haven't been able to talk to him in a while, I literally was like, what? And I just have been, so we've been texting through this platform for the past couple of weeks. But then his win this past week sends me another win. He says, I went into overtime yesterday early morning. I got off Monday morning at 6 and didn't want to go in. I didn't have to, but I persevered, and I'm going to have a fat check next week.
Get it. Get that cash. Get that green,
I
baby.
love it. I
I
love
love
it.
it. I got to do better about. I think the problem is my side of this world is not texting the is not texting the wins back. So I need to every Wednesday. I'm just gonna have to start texting everyone that I already was texting on my side. Be like, what was your win? Also send them the text thing to just say like sign up for this. But yeah, I need to start doing that so that I get everyone on my side though.
I think people may be afraid that if they sign up for it, that they're going to be on some sort of endless text thread. And the really cool thing about this is we're sending out a text every Wednesday saying, hey, it's Wednesday, send us your win. And that goes to everybody, and their responses that come back in, those don't go to everybody. So they're not getting their phones not blowing up. So it's a really, really cool platform.
All right. Well, I think it's a hard time, for like school's coming out, so summer's coming. I think it's difficult for me because I'm still in this transition period. I'm trying to figure out, okay, like Lord, I've got these ideas, I've got these things I'm trying to work on. I don't know if that's you who's listening to the podcast. I think it's so difficult because as men, we have high expectations on ourselves and then high expectations put on us by others around us. And both can be unwarranted about the expectations. And I think we push ourselves to be stretched thin because there is an element of you will be stretched thin. It's just part about being a parent, being a dad, and being a guy. You are going to be stretched thin because that's kind of part of our design. We are able to handle being stretched thin because we're called to do a lot. But then there are parts where we make ourselves stretch thin more than we ever need to. And so I think sometimes, I mean, it's funny. In one of the first episodes, it was, you're the man of one more thing. And then I'm always doing. Everyone just calls me the Renaissance man, which now feels more like an insult than a compliment the more I get called it, because I'm doing so much, right? But I do think there's an I've actually been thinking that lately more of like, I am doing a lot. Am I doing too much? I think it's important to have those moments where you think, are there things I can pull back from? Are there things that I can change? Because the last thing that we should do as men is to force ourselves to be more stretched thin, and as a result, be like not neglecting our family, but in the end not giving them all that they could from us. And that's not the like, you're not giving your family enough of yourself, but it's the, if you're so stretched thin that you're unable to, you know, love your wife and your kids well, or be present for those moments like you were talking about with the, you know, equestrian kind of the therapy, or me going to a party with my daughter, right, and hearing her what she's saying. If we're so stretched thin that we're just unable to even be present for those moments, I mean, that's the opposite of what we should be doing. And so I think as
Absolutely.
guys, we need to we should often take stock, and maybe it's literally these conversations that you hear from Shannon and I. And you can always reach out to us, but you should have a friendship like Shannon and I, where you could say, you know, Shan can speak into my life, I can speak into his, and be like, I don't know, maybe that's not the best that you should be doing. And if you don't have that, you need that.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff.
But
And just I would to add to that, man, just it doesn't have to be huge things. Just to take a pause and just like
no,
going like I being able to sit and watch Incredibles with my daughter last night on the couch. Night, Christy and I are finally, this is the first time in a long time we're getting an evening date and a movie, but she and I are going out on an evening date and you know, dinner and a movie. And those are small things, but they have big impact and they go a long way. So just finding them and doing them.
amen. All right, everyone. As always, like, subscribe, share with your friends, follow us on all the things: Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Join the wins list. You got to text the number. I forget what the number is. I should have that memorized. We got to put that into our
423
intro.
210 4777. 423 210 4777.
Text win to that and sign up for the weekly Wednesday text where we get our wins from you. But with that, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Deuces.
See ya.